Hey, yeah, what's going on with everybody out there? Yeah, it's your boy Drees back with another little video. You know, this video is about lessons that God taught me about King David. You know, I know David most known for David in the Bible most known for killing Goliath. That's what most people know him for. You know, but it was a lot of lessons that God taught me about David. And before I get into it, let's just say a quick prayer. You know, because we is talking about God's word. You know, and I got my little notes right here in my Bible open. So look, yeah, just say a quick prayer. God, I just thank you for leading me to do this video, Father. I ask you to just let it bless so many people. Let many people learn all the lessons that you taught me from David and his life and just coming from your word, Father. Let us just be in tune with your word, listening, drown out any distractions. And we just thank you for just continue to teach us all these things that you got in your word, which is so great and so rich. Help us just bless us and just keep us safe and keep our families safe and just help us draw closer to you, Father. Day by day, just learning from you, getting to know you more and more and more, Father. That's your will. So just I ask you to help us just do that, Father. Draw closer to you and follow you and obey you. And I just receive these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Yeah, I'm going to dive right into it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got my notes. So if I look down, y'all see I'm looking at my notes. But I want to say this, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is something I don't want to say, but I feel like I should say, right? I was reading the book. I had posted it on my page, right? I was reading the book. It was about the last days. And then I read something about David, how he's going to be king, right? He's going to be king forever. He's going to be over everybody pretty much. After Jesus is going to be like David. That's from what I got from the book, right? And it's in the Bible, of course. You know what I'm saying? It says David going to be king forever. And when I read it, it was like a little competitiveness rose up in me. You know, it was like a competitive thing. Like, it was like a little bit of jealousy. I'm not gonna lie. I felt these emotions inside me, right? I'm like, why, God, why do David get to be king over me forever? And it was funny. It was like I was telling God something. I was telling God, thinking to God, like, you don't even know what I'm gonna do if I'm gonna do something greater than David, right? And just think about that. Like, I'm telling God, you don't even know what I'm gonna do. God know everything. You know what I'm saying? So he had me to, that would lead me to read about David. So I'm reading the other book that I'm reading about the last days, and the Holy Spirit just had me go read about David again, right? I have read this story a few times, but now he's telling me to read it again. So this is the video I'm giving y'all now. So like I said, I'm gonna go to my notes. I pretty much remembered everything. It was like a movie to me when I was reading it. I always pray for revelation. So I ask y'all to pray for revelation when you read the Bible. Ask God, help me to understand it. This is what I always say. God, give me wisdom, understanding, insight, and revelation. And help me to remember it and teach it and be a doer of the word. So just remember that. When y'all pray, when you read the Bible, always pray. And you can just pray those things too. You know what I'm saying? And that God will reveal things that's not in the word. Like really what's going on behind the word and help you to see it like a movie. You know what I'm saying? That's insight, right? So I'm gonna just give y'all the story. I'm gonna run it down, like all the things I learned, right? So I started off in Samuel. I just started from the beginning of Samuel. And Samuel was he was the judge of the people. You know, he was a prophet, and at that time they didn't have kings yet. So Samuel was just a judge. So he basically judged God's people, Israel. And he would hear God's voice, and God would tell him to do something and tell the people. And so Samuel would go and tell them, like, you know, what God is saying at that time. So then the people came to Samuel and said, Israelites was like, look, we want a king. Like all the other people got kings. All the other nations got kings. So Samuel went to God and said, the people asking for a king, God. They want a king. So God told Samuel, no, that's not my will. That's not what I want for them. And he told the people again, that's not what God wants. You know, so the people were just urging him like, this is what we want, though. You know what I'm saying? So he went back and told Samuel, went back and told God, and God said, okay, all right, this is what they want. I'm going to give it to them. And Samuel was sad about it. And God told Samuel, don't be sad about it. They're not rejecting you as the judge over them. They rejecting me because I'm their king. You know, so God was the king. The other nations had men as kings. But God is like, I'm y'all king. So God said, okay, do it. So he anointed Saul, King Saul, right? Samuel anointed Saul and said, he told the people, look, Saul's the king now. He gonna take the best of y'all daughters. He gonna make them cook for him. He gonna have y'all paying taxes to him. He basically gonna rule over y'all. You know what I'm saying? So they just like, okay, whatever. He gonna go out and fight for himself too. That's what they wanted. Like, let us have a king that'll go fight for us. So now Saul is king, right? So God was still speaking to Samuel, right? He still was the prophet. So Samuel told Saul, go out and kill the Amorites. Go kill everybody. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they had to be devil-worshiping, evil, super evil people for God who's loving. You know, God is love, right? So for him to say, go kill everybody, right? The babies, the kids, the sheep, everything. The king, everybody. So Saul went to war, took the people to war. He killed everybody, but he kept the sheep. And he kept the king alive, right? So he kept their king alive, the Amorites' king alive. So he came back, and Samuel came back and was like, what is this stuff I hear in the background? Like, you know, Saul was like, I did what you told me to do. I killed the people, like, you know, I killed everybody. You know what I'm saying? So Samuel was like, you didn't obey the voice that God told you to do. I still hear these sheep. I hear all these sheep around here, bah, and all that. Like, you didn't. You know what I'm saying? So Saul told him, look, the people said, let's keep some of this stuff, the good stuff. Let's keep some of these golden cups and all this stuff, the good stuff. So I listened to the people, right? So he didn't obey God. So God told Samuel, I rejected Saul as king. He does not obey me. He don't do what I tell him to do. You kept the king alive too. So God told Samuel, I rejected him, right? I'm going to get another king for me. So he told Samuel, go to Jesse's house in Bethlehem, and the man I tell you to anoint as king gonna be the new king. So he went over to Jesse's house in Bethlehem, and this was David's house. So Jesse brung all his sons in front of David. He brung a big man out. You know what I'm saying? That was a big dude. And so Samuel like, this surely to be the new king right here. And God told Samuel, no. You look at the appearance, but God judges by the heart. Men judges by appearance, but God judges by the heart. This is not the man I chose, right? Another son came out from Jesse. They said he was handsome or whatever. And Samuel like, this got to be the king then. Like, God like, no. And he brung the next one out, no. And he just like, he told Jesse, do you got any more sons? Like, we not going to eat until I see all your sons. So he said, I got David in the back. So David was little, the youngest one, and he was little. He was little, short and stuff. So he came in, and he was taking care of the sheep. And then God told him, this is the king right here. And I can see he just shocked. He probably like, dang, little man, like he gonna be the king, right? So I'm telling you, I can see it like a movie. So Samuel looking like, dang, him? He gonna be the king? Like God said, yes. So he anointed David to be the king. But he didn't take over yet. David didn't take over. He was anointed to be the king. He had the anointing on him of the king, but he wasn't in a role yet. You know, so let me go to my notes. What did I put down? So he anointed him. So after that, right, they was at war. Saul was still the king. They was at war. And then there go Goliath. What everybody know, Goliath came out. It was the Philistines over here were lined up. The Israelites over here. They was like a far away distance from each other. And Goliath came out and told them, you know, Goliath was a giant. Goliath was like 10 feet tall. Can you imagine that? He was like 10 feet tall, though. You had to look up to him. He was so big. I'm talking about super big. Head so big. Arms, everything so big. He told them, Israelites, I curse your God. Who is this God y'all talking about y'all pray to? He said, y'all bring out one man to fight me. If he beat me, then we will be y'all slaves forever, servants. And if I beat him, y'all gonna be our slaves forever, right? So everybody, like I said, I can see it like a movie. It said, the Bible said everybody was trembling. Everybody was scared. Nobody would dare step forward and fight, take that challenge that Goliath was doing. So David was at home. Like I said, he was taking care of the sheep. And his dad sent him to the war, said, go bring this stuff to your brothers. Go bring these cakes and these little Cheez-Its and all this stuff to your brothers. And go see what's going on with the war. So David came out there. And David he heard Goliath taunting everybody. He seen everybody scared, and he's just like, what's going on? And the people told David, Saul said, whoever killed this man, he will give him his son to marry. I mean, his daughter. Saul said, you would have his daughter to marry. He's the king. You had a king's daughter, so obviously you have all that benefits of the king, and your family won't have to pay taxes to the rest of your life. So David like, what? That's what he said. So David brothers heard what he's saying. Like, man, what you doing out here, man? What you always being nosy and stuff. And David told his brothers, what y'all talking about, man? Like, my dad sent me out here to help y'all and give y'all this stuff, right? So David told somebody, man, what did he say again? They said the same thing. Like, he said you have his daughter, and y'all family won't have to pay taxes. So David ran to Saul and said, look, man, I'll fight him. And Saul looked at David, but let me rewind back. Let me rewind back for a minute. Like, no, I'm gonna keep going. I can fill that in. But look, like I said, he ran to Saul and said, I'll fight him, right? So Saul looking like, man, is you crazy? He told David, are you crazy? This man is a warrior. He been killing people his whole life since he was a child. Look at you. You small, man. How you have no chance against this dude. Like, so David told Saul, look, man, I take care of my dad's sheep, and whenever a bear or a lion attacked him, I'll kill the bear. I didn't kill the bear and a lion with my bare hands. He said one time, one of the lions grabbed one of my sheep, and I chased him down and grabbed him by his beard and killed him. He just like, boom, broke the beard, broke the lion head open though. He just with his bare hands, right? So this is what David told Saul. So Saul, like, you know, he just looking like baffled. You killed the bear and a lion, like with your bare hand. You know what I'm saying? So he just like, all right, man, may God be with you. So and David was telling them, look, man, God is with me. This man he don't even believe in God. He ain't even following God. Like, I'm gonna beat him because God with me, right? So he stepped out, and Saul gave David his armor, right? He put on all his armor, his shield, his you know what I'm saying, all his protection, his leg gear and all that. And then David had on all that stuff. And David like, this stuff is too heavy for me. Like, I never fought with this stuff on. It's too heavy. He had his spear and everything. He took all that stuff. He said, Saul, I can't fight with this stuff. I never fought with it, and I don't need it, right? So David just picked up 5 little stones, smooth stones. The Bible was able smooth, and he had this little sling. That's what he used to kill stuff, and he was good at it. He practiced with it a lot. So he just picked up his stones and he walked out to fight Goliath. And Goliath looked at David like, man, is this a joke? Y'all bring this little flea out here to fight me? All these big men y'all got out here, all these warriors y'all got, y'all bring this little kid. At this time, I think David probably was like 19, 18, 20. He was young. He was a kid. So y'all bring this little kid, he laughing like, you know, you can imagine Goliath like, man, this is a joke. This is a joke. So David looked at him and said, man, I'm about to kill you this day. But Goliath told him, I'm about to feed your body to the birds of the air and stuff like. And David said, nah, man, it's about to be the opposite. I'm about to cut your head off and feed your body to the birds of the air. You know, you come at me with the spear and all that stuff, but I come at you in the name of God Almighty. That's who's about to help me kill you. So David just put one of his rocks in there, and he just did what he do. He slung it at Goliath. It hit him in his skull though. Like, he had on the metal plate, but it hit him right in the open part, hit him in his skull. And the Bible says it sunk deep into his head, like that rock sunk deep into his head. And he just fell over, boom, fell on his face. And David grabbed his big old sword. You can imagine how big the sword was. I'm talking about, it probably was about 10 feet tall. It probably can stick you from far away. He put that big old sword and just cut off Goliath's head. Like, it held it up in the air. Like, I told y'all, like, he looking at everybody, both sides. Like, I told y'all I was about to kill this dude. Like, I come in the name of God. So everybody was just like baffled. Like, oh my God, am I dreaming? Like, David just killed this dude though. So all the Philistines just took off running. And Israel like chasing them, you know what I'm saying? Killing them down, like, so, you know what I'm saying? They won that war because of David, right? So that's one thing that David just did besides killing the lion and the bear and all that stuff, right? What did I put? So also, I was talking about rewinding. I was saying after disobeyed God, didn't do what he say, the Bible say a demon entered him, right? An evil spirit, it entered him, right? So it would make him uncomfortable, and he was just so sad and so depressed, like a demon just tormenting him, like he just depressed, like all the time, probably had headaches and everything. So somebody said, if somebody that could play music for you, this anointed, this demon would leave you. And he said, do y'all know anybody? Saul said. He said, yeah, David, like this dude way in Bethlehem, he's skillful in music. So he said, go get him. So he sent for David. So every time the evil spirit would come upon him, David would play the harp and sing to God like, God is so faithful. He is so good. He hears us when we crying. Like he would just sing, and that evil spirit would just leave him. Like so he loved David so much. Like he just like, you know what I'm saying? You comfort me, man. You bring me comfort. So he told Jesse, David's dad, like, I'm keeping him in the king's service. He's staying with me. He gonna live with me. So he was, you know what I'm saying? He was staying with Saul. So like I said, he was anointed. David was anointed with the music too. Not only was he a warrior, he was fearless, but he also was skillful in music too. So what else did I put down? So they went out to war, right? I remember it like a movie, but I just wrote it down in chronological order so I can, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I can see it like a movie, but I wrote it down so I can keep notes and keep tabs, right? So like I said, so after he killed Goliath, Saul made him king. He didn't make him king. He made him commander over all the army. So he was in charge of all the army. You know what I'm saying? David was like the commander and telling them, we're going to go here. We're going to come from this angle and kill him this way. And y'all go this way. So he was a commander. He was smart. So, you know what I'm saying? And he was a warrior. You know what I'm saying? So they was happy to have David. They like, man, this man is small and everything, but he's smart and he a warrior. And God with him. He trusts God. He a good man. That's what they were saying. Like, we got a good man ahead of us right now. So he would go out and kill a lot of people. He was killing thousands of people. And I could see that. Like his hand would just boom, 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 stick him, stick him, stick him, stick him, stick him. Like he was killing a lot of people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he was fast and quick and strong and brave. So when he came back from one war, they came back into the city and they came back from the victory. And the ladies and the girls were singing, Saul has killed his thousands, but David is tens of thousands. So Saul heard that and got so furious. He was jealous. He said, did y'all hear that? They give me thousands of people, but they give David tens of thousands of people that he killed. So they said, he was like, man, what next is he going to have but the throne? They going to give him the throne. So he was jealous of him. And the Bible say, and he was scared of David. He knew David was fast and quick and bold. So he was jealous and scared of David at the same time, right? So so David was playing the music again for him one day. You know, the demon came back, he called for David. And while David was playing the music, that jealousy rose up in him. And Saul grabbed his spear and hurled it at David and tried to kill him. And but it missed. You know, it missed him, and then David ran out. And Saul's son, name was Jonathan. So David came to Jonathan like, why is your dad trying to kill me? Like, he just tried to kill me. And Jonathan like, he didn't try to kill you. He like, man, I'm telling you, like, your dad is jealous of me and stuff for no reason. Like, I haven't did nothing. I've been nothing but good to him. You know, so David was on the run from him. So he came back. You know, he came back. And then he came back again, right? And Saul did it again, like playing the music for him again and tried to kill him again through the spear and try to pin him against the wall, and David eluded him again and missed again. So now, excuse me, y'all, David is on the run from him now. He really on the run. And he told Jonathan, like, man, your dad's trying to kill me and stuff. And you know, the Bible say Jonathan loved Saul. I mean, he loved David. Jonathan loved David so much, like it said he loved him more than a woman love a man. Like this kind of love, he just loved him because he's a good man. Like he's strong and all that. He just admired David so much. So he told David, like, I'm gonna go talk to my dad tomorrow. It's a feast, and you know, I mean, you always sit next to my dad. You know, you're the commander. And he said, I'm gonna find out and find out if my dad really trying to kill you. So David and Jonathan asked his dad, like, why are you trying to do this to David for no reason? And And Saul told Jonathan, his son, like, man, you would never be the king because you cool with this dude. You letting him escape and you working with him. You know what I'm saying? And Jonathan just stormed out there mad, like, I don't understand why you trying to kill him. Right? Him and David was like really close. Jonathan, they was like really, you know what I'm saying, best of homies though. You know what I'm saying? So what happened after that? So I put that David married. Oh yeah, David married Saul. Remember, you know what I'm saying? He told him he was gonna give him his daughter, right? So he married his daughter. He married his daughter, and he was in the room, and they was in the, you know, in their room or whatever, their house or whatever. And Saul sent men up to go get him. And then Saul's daughter put a little opened up the door and said, like, he's sick, right? He's sick. She put up a little she let him escape out the window when they was knocking. She let him escape out the window, and she put up like pillows and stuff to act like he was in the bed. And she said, he's sick, like David's sick and stuff. They told Saul, like, he's sick. He's like, I don't care, go bring him back here so I can kill him. So when they came back, they busted the door open, and they noticed that it was a little posed body. It wasn't David. He had escaped. So Saul was like, told his daughter, you and Jonathan is my enemies. Y'all acting like my enemies. Y'all let my enemy go. And they just both like, he ain't do nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? So David had help. You know what I'm saying? David had help. So what happened after that? I put down, right? So Jonathan let him go, right? Let him get away. And then so David on the run now. David is on the run from Saul, right? And Saul is chasing him. Like, you know, Saul got the army, but David had a small little army with him. He was he had about 600 men to stay faithful to him in the army. So he had a little small army, but Saul had tens of thousands of people. He's still king at this point. So he chasing David all around. And David caught him sleeping one day. He caught him sleeping, and he could have killed him. But David said, I would not raise up my hand against God's anointed one. I would not kill him. You know what I'm saying? I could kill him right here, but I'm not. So he took his water jug that night, and he went like way on the roof, way where he couldn't get to him, way in the mountains and stuff. And he called like, Saul, why are you trying to kill me, man? You know what I'm saying? Look at your water jug and your spear I got right here in my hand. I was right next to you last night. I could have killed you, but I'm not. So Saul, like, David, you are a good man. Like, you know what I'm saying? He felt bad about it. He was like, you are a good man. I don't know why I'm trying to kill you. You know what I'm saying? So time went by, and that evil spirit came upon him again. He went out looking for David again and tried to kill him and do the same thing. And God put Saul into a deep sleep again. And David told one of his men, which one of y'all go down there with me right now? So they went down there and seen Saul sleeping, and all the army sleep. And one of David's men was like, look, I got my spear in my hand. Let me just pin him to the ground right here. I could just pin one. I won't even have to hit him twice. I could just stick him in his head, and this war would be ended. They would stop chasing you. And David told his man, nah, we're not going to kill him. He's still the anointed one of God. Even though he's trying to kill me, he said, God going to avenge him for me. God going to fight Saul for me, because God know that I'm innocent. So I'm looking like, man, look, David is a good man, though. Like, I'm seeing all this stuff that God is showing me about David. You know what I'm saying? He like, I'm not going to raise up my hand against God, anointed person. He's still a king in Israel of our people. You know what I'm saying? Most people would have been like, look, man, this man trying to kill me. I got him right here. I'm about to get him. You know, but not David. David like, no, I couldn't do that, right? So like I said, he spared him a second time. You know what I'm saying? So David's like, let me run far away, man, so I won't keep having to run from this dude, right? And then Saul didn't chase him no more. And then it was something funny I read, right? So David went to one of his enemies' towns, right? And he's like, let me live here, right? And the man said, ain't you David that when they say kill all these people and stuff, like, and the man was scared, but the man had all his army right here. And David was a little bit scared, like, what are you going to do to me? So all of a sudden, David just played crazy like he was retarded. David started spitting and slobbing and grabbing the wall and acting like he was just retarded. He's slobbing and stuff, like, and that man like, look, man, this man is crazy, man. This man, David is a nut, man. This is the David y'all talking about. He's crazy, man. We don't need no more crazy people, man. Let's get out of here. So David escaped that, you know what I'm saying, escaped that day. Like, I'm like, David was smart, though. He played retarded, though. Like, David was clever, man. Like, he also was clever. You know what I'm saying? But so after that, right? Saul and the army of Israel went to war. They went to war and they got killed. Him and Jonathan got killed in the war. And David heard about the war. Somebody came back and told David, like, you know, our people went to war, and David like, what happened out there? And they said it wasn't good. We lost this war against the Philistines. We lost a lot of people, and Saul the king dead and Jonathan dead. You know, and David just started weeping. Like, David just like sad. Like, he was sad for Jonathan, of course, his buddy, like his best homie, but he was sad for Saul too, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, no, David was just a good man, though. Like, he was sorrowful and crying for the dude that's trying to kill him. You know what I'm saying? Look at all these attributes of David, though. Like I'm saying, like, he a warrior. He anointed to do music. He's faithful. He didn't kill the lion and the bear, protecting his sheep. He loyal, he faithful, he a hard-working dude. He take the little jobs. He was a sheep bearer. He just watched the sheep. That's all his job was. He don't need to be in a position of I'm the man type of person. He wasn't like that. David was humble. He was very humble, and I see why God chose him now. Like, he was humble, and he trusted God fully. That's what God was showing me. He trusted God fully, right? So after that, David became king. The people like, remember God anointed you king, and God said you was gonna take over. So the people was so happy to have David as king. So every time David went to war, it was different from Saul. David would ask one of the prophets, go ask God, is we gonna win? Is we gonna win this war? So David always inquired of God. He always asked God, like, God, should I attack these people? Is you gonna give me victory in this? And God would tell him, yes, go attack. I'm gonna give you victory. So look, David trusted God. David wasn't just this man that was just a warrior, that he was just built like this. Even though God made him like that, he asked of God. Remember that, man. You ask God, like, should I do this? Should I do that, God? And wait and listen what God gonna tell you back. That's what I learned from it. I'm like, I'm a really trust God and asking him stuff, like, because David was direct. He didn't do no religious prayers. He just asked him straight up, like, should I go to war or not, God? And God like, yeah, go to war, right? So I noticed that about David. And afterwards, right, David was king, and he searched for one of Saul's relatives. He like, man, is anybody in the house of Saul or Jonathan that I could show my loving kindness to? I made a pact with Jonathan that I wouldn't kill his family or nothing like that. I wouldn't do nothing to him, even though his dad was trying to kill me. Like, I made a pact with him. So somebody was like, it's a guy named Mephibosheth, and he lives in Lodabar. So David was like, go get him, go get Mephibosheth and bring him to me. So Mephibosheth came before David shaking. He was so scared. He like, that was Jonathan's son, right? So he like, I know what my granddad, I heard about what my granddad did to you. But Mephibosheth was, he was lame, he couldn't walk. Because during one of the wars, when he was a baby, he was like 3 or 4 or 5 or something, the maid picked him up in the war and ran with him and dropped him and like broke his legs, I guess, broke his ankles and stuff, so he couldn't walk. So I guess he had a wheelchair. I don't know, somebody was carrying him or what, but he came before David so scared, shaking, like, man, it's over. I'm dead. Like, but David told him, nah, I ain't gonna do nothing to you. Like, don't even worry about it. From now on, you're gonna eat at my table with me and my sons. Like, you know what I'm saying? So David exalted this man for Saul and Jonathan's sake. You know what I'm saying? Even though most people would have been like, man, that's his relative, that my enemy trying to kill me. Like, I ain't messing with him. I'm cool. But not David. David like, no, I'm gonna keep my word to Jonathan, and I'm gonna make him almost like my son. So he ate every day with the king. You know, he said, I'm gonna give you this field and all this stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you all this stuff, your house. You'll have a nice house and all that. Took care of him. I'm like, man, David is a faithful dude. He keep his word. Look at these attributes of David. He keep his word. He loyal. He humble. He trusts God. He asks God. Like, look at all these traits that David have. You know what I'm saying? His entire life, he lived like this, right? So what else did I wrote down? It was Saul's wife. I mean, Saul. Remember I said Saul's daughter was his wife, and he came back from a war one day, and David was dancing, right? He was dancing and before the Lord. They was all happy. All the people were dancing, you know, playing the music and stuff. And David was dancing. He took off his shirt and stuff and was doing this little dancing and stuff. And then and his wife looked out the window, saw her daughter look out the window and saw him dancing like that. And she said, like, I don't like the way you was dancing in front of all them girls. And you, how can a king do such a thing, dance like that? Like, you know what I'm saying, in front of these women. So David, she was talking to him all crazy. David like, look, you ain't even seen nothing yet. Like, I'm dancing for God. You know what I'm saying? I ain't thinking about these women. So David put her in silence. He ain't never touched her again, no more in her life. He said, I'm gonna put you in isolation. Like, don't you ever talk to me like that. Like, you know, I'm a king. At the same time, David was a manly man, God was showing me. He was a manly man, though. Like, he wasn't no little feminine type of man. He was masculine, and he was strong and tough. Like, he told her, look, don't ever disrespect me. Like, ain't nobody gonna touch you from the rest of your life. No sex, no touching, no affection, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? So God was showing me, like, he was a manly man, too, though, at the same time. Like, you ain't gonna talk to no king like that. And women didn't talk to men like that in those days. I mean, sometimes, but it wasn't like nowadays. But look, what else that went down? Like I said, David went to war for God and killed hundreds and thousands of people. But he did it for God, though. He wasn't going to war over no girl or over no money or nothing like that. It was all because God sent him on these missions. So God sent him on the missions, and David went. You know what I'm saying? And look, think about us. God was telling me, he was telling me personally, God was checking me. Remember I told you I was a little jealous about that? God said, you be nervous about going to an interview. You be nervous about going on a date. You be nervous about this and that. Like, you be scared about things. David wasn't, though. You know what I'm saying? God wasn't putting it in a competition way, but he was telling me, he was checking me. God was checking me in some ways. Like, look, you be nervous about stuff. David wasn't. David fought hand-to-hand combat for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we be scared. David wasn't. David was a fearless warrior. And now I see why God anointed him and made him king. I see why. You know, but David did something real bad, though. I know I'm at 30 minutes right now. I'm 32. I ain't gonna go too much longer, but